course, Klim. But other than that, there's not really a lot that come to mind.
But let's see what the opening interactions look like for this round. I'm curious to see what Chino wants to bring to the table.
Ready, starting off with that Assault JA. Toast already immediately pressing this advantage, and Chino also sneaking up some green shields in there as well to really pump up that grid meter and hopefully win this cycle. But a big hit here for Toast will win him the cycle instead, and another counter hit as Chino falls down and gets hit and thrown into the corner right here.
Drop combo, but things are looking solid. I really like the decision from Toast to opt for the backdash right there. I think when you see the early dive kicks from Merkavas like that, you can tell that they're a bit antsy about like particular throw options. So sometimes crushing that requires a bit of like a difference in like attacking rotation, right? So I think the backdash there is a pretty solid choice to start implementing there. Seeing a bit more of the dive kick and a lot of green shields. So I'm curious to see what Toast will want to do when they're on offense with CS. Like a very common thing you'll see come up is like sometimes people will either do like Oki and they might meaty into CS to check for a green shield and then throw to grid break. And Hyde's throw damage in general is pretty great in this version of the game, especially just with like how damage is right now, despite like a couple of nerfs to like EX moves and IW. So I wonder if we'll see some of those grid breaks come in a bit later as Toast picks up this first round.
Yeah, and another thing about that throw, too, is that it becomes even better in the corner because he is one of the few characters in the game that can actually combo off of him. That's massive punish material here as Toast punishes that whiff 6-6C. You never want to whiff that normal in a combo. If you whiff it, you're immediately going to get punished no matter what. And you can see Toast already on top of it and continuing to run over Chino in the corner. A huge grid break with the force function, and this should be dead because we have 200 mirror for the IW.
Yeah, this is absolutely massive damage coming in here. Oh my god, I thought that was barely going to not kill for some reason. But yeah, Toast up one game rather dominantly, I would say, in that second round there.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see with that final combo why it's so scary to get cornered by Hyde, because Hyde, while he doesn't necessarily have the best mid-screen pressure, usually has to use meter with the fireball to keep that pressure going. When he has you in the corner, that's where that damage really starts to amp up. And because of IW damage being so high, and Celestial and Vorpal in general just giving you so much bonus damage on top of that, he can be very explosive. And sometimes, like, you think you're not going to die to his combos, but like you said, like you thought he wasn't going to die, but he ended up killing you.
Yeah, the very first patches of this game, just looking at high confirms and him just killing you were crazy. Nice grid break throw from Chino, however. Definitely showing they're not in this. Oh, okay, we're going to shake the baby with the force function. Doesn't end up completing her up, but this is fine. Toast is grid broken. Chino opts to spend the CS, gains a ton of meter, kills meterlessly as well. This is a fantastic change of momentum for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Starting this next round here with 200 meter on the table and immediately going into flight, forcing Toast to respect his options, and you got to respect that dive kick as well. Getting that punish here as Chino is going to corner Toast and finally set up those C worms to run this offense on Toast and make him guess what his next pressure string is going to be.
Let's see what happens. Raw throw ends up connecting here. CS to check the situation. 2-2B on block. 6B stuff something. Not too sure what Chino is mashing there. Things are looking pretty great for Toast. They should be able to secure the cycle here. This could be very, very good for them. Let's see what comes up next. It's going to be the 2-6C reversal. And as of this most recent patch, Merkava does get better routing off of it. CS comes out, and I feel like every time Chino like drops a route, Toast is already mashing. Like every single time. Nice throw tech, however. Things are looking pretty good. This is really dicey.
Betting the meter here to get the plus frame. The chain shift, and Toast immediately respecting it. Can't get the full punish, but gets a throw in return here, finishing the job and bringing us to the final round here in game number 2. Toast, though, still with the advantage, meaning he is on a set point over Chino, and right now playing patient for full screen, but Chino choosing to start this offense with that 2B and can set up those worms right now. And why the worms are so important for Merkava means he can set up the flight safely and can do a lot more with his pressure, because normally Merkava has very limited options in terms of reboot.
Yeah, honestly, like, Merc's ability to just set a 2-2C on you, especially in the corner, and then high-low you safely, it is incredibly strong. And then on top of that, like, even if we'll see what happens if we get to that point where Toast shows a couple of defensive options against it, but for the time being, we're back to mid-screen here. Chino with 100 meter. This should end in a 2-2C and some devious Worm Oki right now. Let's see what comes up next. And Chino's been opting to back off quite a bit there. I think they're respecting Hyde like quite a lot, but you know, they can opt to go for like a safe like JB there. to either go high or land and then go for like a 2B to keep the mix a bit more ambiguous. I think walking back kind of ends up reducing some of the threat of like a mix-up, especially when you're in a guess for game scenario. But regardless, Chino ends up taking that second game here.
Yeah, for sure, because there's not really a lot that Merkava can do from that full screen range outside of just throwing out mids, and the worms are already mids, so there's not really a lot to worry about. But I know that Chino maybe was being a little bit apprehensive about losing the worms because he didn't have Vorpal. So that means that if he blocked normal or blocked a move, then those worms would disappear. And there are ways to kind of set it up to make them not do that. I think because Toast has been so willing to mash, Chino was a bit scared that he would lose that worm set because of it.
Totally. Coming in here next. Oh, no smart steer under. That might have ended up letting Chino secure the cycle, but the backdash from Toast and the whiff green shield means the cycle does go in Chino's favor. That's fantastic. 5C ends up connecting against the assault normal, but not quite ready for that hit there. Ooh, really good green shields from Toast. That 6-2-3-8 is +1, so shielding that last hit is like very, very tough. Merkava's got a couple of multi-hit moves like that that can make it very tough to deal with if you want to shield for better punishes or to end some pressure sequences there. Throw ends up connecting, and Toast's offense is absolutely making mincemeat out of Chino right now.
And we have the Vorpal as well. We're going to spend to keep this pressure going and get the meter gain as well. Oh, and not trying to spend any meter. Drops the combo midway through, and Chino is still alive and kicking, hoping to take a round here as we set up the worms and set up the flight, trying to go into the safe jump, but Toast is not going to press anything and gets hit in this combo. I don't think we're going to set up the OT once again. No, the dive kick whips, no! Plus frames, let's see what happens. Time to guess. Oh, nice tech. Oh, but gets caught out by the 2A mash from Toast as Toast sets himself back up onto set point.
Yeah, and again, Toast's willingness to mash is really catching Chino out in a lot of scenarios where otherwise, you know, you would expect an opponent to respect it. Oh my goodness, that was a, mind you, that with green shield means that Toast was super plus there, but Chino still, like, had the presence of mind to mash it, which is wild. JP ends up connecting, not much further offense, however. Toast takes the opportunity and immediately boldly dashes in.
Red combo, we're going to take the damage regardless. We're about to win that Vorpal cycle as well, just barely. Using the mirror to keep this pressure going and push Chino closer and closer to the corner. We can get the throw punish, thrown back into the corner.
Yes, it's been a little late on the green shield. A lot of grid gain.
100 meter on the table, but gets counter hit. Chino trying to do something, and Toast is going to capitalize off of this hit here.
Still a guess for game scenario, but against Hyde, that throw will absolutely maul you. That is very bold green shield there, but without CS, Toast can't really offer anything else. But the throw ends up connecting after the further offense, and they take it 2-1.
And the Texas Hammer right now.
Oof. And this is going to be Londrekia versus Seth. This is a matchup that I honestly don't end up seeing too frequently, honestly. Seth in general.
Yeah, we don't have too many Seth players now, right?
Yeah, a lot of sets that you might have seen, especially toward the end of the clear, have like either switched characters or you don't end up seeing them like as frequently there. But Azure Under Knight's been playing for a while, put it that way, and they've pretty much always been rocking the Seth. Oh, caught on the teleport with the 226A here. These are looking decent for Hammer.
Azure Under Knight in the corner. Nice jump out from Azure and finding a first good hit against the Texas Hammer. He's going to be able to set up the orb, but drops the combo midway through, steps the Vortex, and there's that J236 EC Ice Rain. That's going to be a critical tool in the matchup. And Azure Under Knight, while they did find that hit, they're going to have to be mindful about that one move whenever Texas Hammer has that meter.
Oh god, Red B combo they end up falling into the force function, gets clipped by the orb on the fastball, and things are looking absolutely beautiful for Azure here in that first round.
Absolutely looking good. Both players with about even meter at the moment, trying to catch him with the C Rekka, but to no avail. However, we're going to catch him regardless here on those plus frames, trying to get out, and drops the combo through the Rekka, and we're going to be able to get a punish and side swap as well. Seth is a very strong character because of how they can kind of choose which combo routes they want to do, pretty much across any hit.
Definitely, for sure. And we're seeing some of that routing like coming out here from Azure. Trying to get a little cheeky with some of the force function orb sets on some of these combos here, but Texas Hammer. Oh! Beautiful bait on that DO. And this is going to be like corner to corner, basically. Oh no, obstacle for the 4CC in order to set up for the G buff. Things are looking solid, sets up the turret. Ice Rain comes out and deletes the projectile, which is really great, actually, to take care of the orb. Orb's going to come out. There it is on the counter hit. Celestial is on the Hammer side, and Azure Under Night doesn't have enough meter to kill here, but this is sure to be a pretty good scenario. Caught after that blink. This should
Hammer
be
has...
death.
Oh no, we dropped the combo! Trying to go for the 6B instead! And Azure Under Night's gonna get the pickup. Texas Hammer had it in his grasp, but drops it. And that will be the first game going to Azure.
You looked at a dropped combo, and your first decision not only was to mash, which is fair, right? But you mashed up back JA. Up back JA on the drop? That's wildness. I swear, there's nothing crazier than trying to throw somebody and then they just up back JA and then either they like confirm into something or they kind of back off and you feel like an idiot for like 3 seconds. It's crazy.
And you see how Hammer is kind of approaching this matchup, going for a lot of those B Rekkas because it reaches so high up, as well as using those Ice Rings as well to try and keep Azure out of the air. But Seth is such a highly mobile character that they can just change the trajectory of their movement at any moment and just avoid those moves entirely. So Hammer has to be playing very careful if we're constantly going for these committal specials.
Right now, however, they're still in a pretty decent spot. Jesus! Caught on the cross-up, however. Things are looking pretty good. This is a lot of damage. Oh my god!
We're not going to spend IW, however, just spending the 100 meter to keep him locked down. We try to go for the creeping edge and the force function as well. But like I said before, Azure can just stay up there in the air if he wants, stall as long as he wants, and then come down on his own terms. That's exactly what he did to take that round and place himself onto set point.
You can tell Azure really, not necessarily wants to play with his food, but really wants to play around with his opponent's expectations for certain things. So you can see it in the way in which they'll like jump and immediately fast fall with orb to cover in a lot of scenarios, trying to get Hammer to like flinch in certain places. But I think, frankly, seeing a bit more like a force function or more aggressive defensive options might curtail Azure's approach here. But with the way this combo's going, oh no, big drop, Rekka has response to the red mist, knowing that Azure's pressing something here. Rocks with the turret, jumps over the guard thrust. Hold on a second. Actually might see a humongous comeback in this round.
Yeah, we're building a lot of momentum right now. The Ice Flower is active. That Ice debuff is active as well. And there's the grid break coming in. I think this might be the comeback, but I gotta hold my mouth right now. Hold that tongue because we don't know if we're going to be seeing a drop, and we will not see that drop. Rooting straight into the 236C Fireball for the easy finish. Hammer keeps Azure from taking this set that easily.
I've seen many a curse, and it seems that we've managed to avoid it this time around. Force function coming out for Hammer. Things are looking solidly. Rekka ends up deleting the orb. Things are looking pretty good here. This is going to be a lot of corner carry. Not fully in the corner, but I mean, it's pretty much turret Oki guaranteed. That 4CC change to the untech makes it very reliable for Lon to set up Oki.
Oh, and there's that force function coming out, getting out of that pressure for free. And also getting a bit of grit along with it as well. Pops the chain shift, but Azure going to challenge it, and on a successful hit, boost into this combo. I think we're not going to spend any meter just yet. We're waiting for that next combo. But the question is if we're going to be able to get that next combo. Whiffs the 2C, and a great 5B whiff punish from Hammer is going to take us to 1-1.
That spacing was immaculate. That decision making there was so sick. So, like I was mentioning it earlier, how I think that Texas Hammer should probably opt to use a bit more force function and other aggressive, like, defensive options to kind of get Azure to back off right there. So we see it come into focus right there with the force function, and then on top of that, very on the ball with like the follow-ups there. But we're already into game 3 right now. Things are looking pretty crazy, and things are definitely heating up.
All right, resetting Hammer. Going to pack even more damage on the table.
Oh, trying to get a little cheeky. Ooh!
Now we try to go for the force function again, but now Azure is circumventing it with how he's ending his roots now. Texas Hammer on that one final hit. And that's going to be a throw to take Azure back to that set point very quickly, in fact, as well.
Did you see the way that Azure baited out that force function there?
It was crazy.
That was kind of nuts. Can we talk about that? Can we talk about it a little bit? Can we talk about it a little bit?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hold on, wait, Ice Rain. Oh my god, wait, oh, the orb! Hold on a second. We'll get to that later. I swear, it's cool. But for the time being right now, Azure's really trying to get this one done here. Roll ends up coming out successfully here. No baited option right there, but Hammer ends up opting for the up 4 JC. We haven't seen that come up too often, but it is a belligerently very, very good tool for Londrekia to throw out there in order to throw crush. Beautiful Ice Rain right there, catching Azure's movement right there as well. I really like the usage of meter in these scenarios. Still left with 100 meter to work with, going to spend it on the C turret here, trying to bait Azure into an action right there, but they're going to sit, shield, try to get CS, but I'm not too sure what the opportunity will look like here. They end up popping it right here at the end of the Rekka into the EX command grab. Things are looking pretty solid here. There should be an orb left after this Oki. Let's see what the rest of the combo looks like.
Oh, and there's the creeping edge coming out as well, and there's a throw as well on top of that to take another round, and we're just going the distance.
Things are looking pretty good here. Lots of aerial movement once again. I wonder if Hammer is either going to opt to... I like the concentrate right there. I want to talk about it in a little bit right there. Rekka's doing a pretty good job right there, and I really, really like this adjustment from Hammer. He needs to play defense a hair better. There's the throw crush option with the instant dive. Things are looking pretty solid for Under Night right here as they get the first big hit of this round. Orb is set. Time to guess. Veil off against Baited. But the red beat combo, y'all believe in each other's routing a lot. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a believer. I am sacrilegious for this sort of routing.
With how many drops we've been seeing so far, I would not trust this rooting. And there's that 5B. Not gonna trust that pressure either. Has a 0 corner, going to get the freeze to get some extra setup, extra damage. Ice Flyer setup as well, goes for the throw, but gets tech. And Azure finding the hit against Hammer, has the meter, goes for the easy CVO to make sure that we stabilize that combo and secure the win without any drops. Well played, 2-0, making it over Hammer and moving on through the winners.
This matchup coming up here should be pretty interesting. I'm really curious to see what the full screen interactions will end up shaking out to be. We don't get to see Wald like too frequently. I suppose unless it's psychotic in a lot of instances. But I'm really curious to see what Tanasinn and Toast will do, because with Wald's 2-2X being such a strong anti-projectile move and Hyde 2FF being really strong, I'm really curious to see like how the matchup will play out. But right now, Tanasinn playing for grid, popping Celestial immediately at round start. That is fantastic. Spending it after the dive, after the body splash, and already building up so much meter to work with.
Yeah, I like that choice as well. Not using it as a defensive or offensive mechanic, just using it to get that meter. And having that 200 meter to start things off provides such a huge advantage against Toast, because we have options like that 2-2C, or we have the invincible command grab reversal to just tack on so much damage in a single move.
720 is out here. Tanasinn concentrating just a little bit out of really dangerous range against Hyde, mind you. Just absolutely daring Toast to like press a button there to try and steal the cycle right there. And it ends up working out pretty well in his favor. All really good fake out with the 660 if I recall correctly. Sometimes it can be hard to react to. Going for the 2B afterwards in order to check for Toast's option. Maybe wants them to kind of jump over there. I'm curious to see what some of the conditioning will look like. Oh no!
Yeah, the concentrate to win the Vorpal cycle right there. Misses the throw, but no reaction from Tanasinn. Runs up 2A. There's the stagger pressure coming in. No bite from Tanasinn, but a great tech throw. And Toast is actually going to fight back on those minus frames. Gets tossed by the rock. We have Celestial on the table. We also have 200 meters. This is enough to kill if we finish this combo.
Force function at that range, and you still end up routing into IW from all of that. Dear Lord.
Yeah, I feel like we could have made it simpler by going to like Steer Ender into IW or something. But Tanasinn was able to get the kill regardless. And that will be the first game going to Tanasinn over Toast very quickly, in fact.
Yeah, routing-wise, Salty, I'm not going to hold you. I play against God Hunter, he clicks Wald, and then I watch myself get thrown across the screen for like 15 seconds, and suddenly I'm dead after like half of the routes. I don't know nothing about what Wald is doing. I just know he kills you sometimes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And an interesting thing about Tanasinn is that he is the grappler of the game. But funnily enough, he doesn't really struggle with zoning as much as you think because he has a unique trait with the claws, where his claws attacks basically destroy the projectiles. We have the 2-2X that we haven't really been seeing too much. We also have the rock toss as well. And not to mention his just giant normals as well. If he gets up on top of you in mid-range, he can still put on very suffocating pressure. We're seeing the ground slams right now being that force function from Toast.
Dog, right as you call it out, we start seeing the 2-2X cancel right there to beat out the 2FF. Really good stuff there from Tanasinn. Good shield on the second part of Rekka. Opts to mash there. Falls down. Manages to find a command grab. Things are looking good. CS in order to extend the combo. Let's see what the right ends with.
Should get the hard knockdown from this combo right here with the steer ender. But it's going to be spending that grid, and because we spent that grid with the steer ender, Toast is going to win that Vorpal cycle instead. Getting out of that corner and actually bring Tanasinn all the way over to the other side of the stage. Now Tanasinn has to hold his pressure and hold that throw as well, as Toast is going to be getting a full combo from that.
It's looking good. The one reversal super from Tanasinn could make this a very awkward scenario from Toast. But the CS after the Rekka into the 2As are going to do a pretty damn good job here. Still not going to be enough to kill. One more hit will get it done. The roll comes out. The 3C deletes the pogo projectile, but doesn't end up clipping Hyde.
And getting really cheeky right there, concentrating in front of Toast's face. And Toast not going to take that lying down, runs up, throws Tanasinn, and takes a round to his name. Tanasinn will fight back ever so more here in this round, spending some meter to attack on that damage as well.
Oh no, reset into the card press. Things are looking decent for the time being. That's the up forward, catches that purple shield, and immediately throws it for a ton of damage there. BDP comes out, but this is looking really dicey for Toast. Bold decision to up forward into the pogo right there. Gets out of range of the throw. Another grid break, but this time on the side of Tanasinn. Nobody has purple for this cycle.
That's not very often you see those double grid breaks, and Toast is going to be taking this round here. If we spend that IW, I think it should be enough to kill, but oh, never mind.
Right.
We didn't ruin to the IW.
Yeah, IW wouldn't necessarily do enough damage there, and I think Toast wanted to opt to go for the pogo and was more comfortable with the situation that follows afterwards there. But yeah, very, very close stuff, and really good adjustments on offense and defense from Toast. Very bold callouts on a lot of the throws there by going for just like dash up into jump right there in response to some of the 360s as well as raw throw techs from Tanasinn. I'm curious to see if Tanasinn will maybe opt to go for different throw crush options, or if they might just try to play a more reactive style instead in order to tech, but we'll have to see what comes up here as we go into the last game here of our first winter semi set.
Yeah, I love the back and forth we're seeing so far in all of these sets right now, taking rounds back and forth and taking games back and forth. But now we're at that final game, and only one can move forward in this winner side of the bracket into winners finals. Who will it be? Tanasinn already setting the pace and taking the first combo.
Things are looking good thus far here. Nice ender. Not going to be quite as explosive as the first round of the first game rather. Oh my god, words. Where he immediately popped Celestial, but hey, I'm not going to lie, a nearly dead Hyde is a pretty good scenario here as we're already almost like 20 seconds into this round. However, Toast definitely has a bit more to speak of here.
Tanasinn doesn't have too much in defensive options outside that chain shift, but will be getting that meter from the chain shift. So this next wake up, Toast will have to be mindful about a possible reversal command grab, possibly from Tanasinn on wake up. But instead, we're going to go for the creeping edge. Toast, however, catching it out with that assault. Tanassinn's still alive, however.
He leads the projectile, not quite ready for the 2FF, and ends the backdash on the EX command grab from Toast, ends up leading into the kill scenario here. Again, fantastic adjustments from Toast here going into this last game.
Great adjustments from Tanasinn as well, being reactive with those throw techs, and also a Celestial on the table as well.
Oh no, you just gave it up! Okay.
Away.
Still has the cycle at the very least, but that was very, very dicey. The moment Toast shielded that 2-2X, I was like, oh god. However, Tanasinn looking pretty good, should be able to secure this next cycle as well. But the last minute roll from Toast, those last minute cycle decisions can very much so clinch, like, and steal away Vorpal from people.
Tanasinn not being very picky about which projectiles they choose to destroy, because they want to be mindful about the fact that Toast can whiff punish them if they try to go for those normals or for those specials to destroy them and clear them off the screen. And we're going to be using the change to bait out the DP. Tanasinn is going to be bringing us to that final game, final round.
And you can tell that Toast, on top of that, with the neutral, just to kind of talk about the Fireball game, really wants to adjust using a couple of them. You saw the 236A start coming out in order to switch up the timing and perhaps be ready for follow-ups after the 2-2X here. But Grid Break already coming in early. Veil Off comes out. The meter is already spent because Toast tried to EX Pogo afterwards. They're left with only 100 meter now. That's crazy.
The backdash from Toast getting out of that situation, has full health as well, knows that he doesn't have to approach if he doesn't have to right now. He can kind of play at his own pace, tossing out those projectiles, trying to go for the double assault and get a little cheeky, but Tanasinn calling him out with those anti-airs has just been on top of that anti-air game when it comes to those assaults that Toast has been representing, and going to root straight into the C God Press when we bring Toast into the corner, and also has a Vorpal cycle to use change shift if he needs to, has the advantage, has the command grab, and we should be able to kill canceling it with the change shift. That's going to be the game going to Tanasinn as well as that set.
As a fellow grappler enjoyer, whenever I see some
Londrekia, this is going to be a very interesting matchup. I'm actually not too sure how it's going to go. You know, Tsurugi can kind of be very obnoxious when it comes to neutral, especially with that force function right there. And a lot of the best tools that Londrekia has tend to be mids and can kind of be circumvented by that force function. But you also have to keep in mind that a Rekka can be very useful when it comes to catching out those force functions in this game.
Is that a Fred Flintstone color?
Is it?
That literally is Fred Flintstone. That is a Fred color from Fred Flintstone. Oh my god, I'm Jesus Christ. That's literally a Scooby-Doo color. I'm actually so mad.
I was like,
I'm so bad.
What are you talking about?
I don't know why I say Flintstone half the time. No, that's a Fred from Scooby-Doo outfit. I'm mad. I'm mad that that's the thing I honed in on.
We got a mystery to solve here.
I suppose. Okay. The force function incident of 2024. Ends the combo early, trying to get the cycle, but they definitely, yeah, they had too little grid to work with there. So I think it would have been better to just finish the route instead and then get a bunch of damage. There are certain times in which, like, you kind of have to accept that, like, the cycle is not going to go your way, and it's better, you're better off cashing out on damage or trying to find very good Oki such that, like, your opponent's ability to, like, threaten CS is mitigated.
Oh, trying to go for the throw again after it was tech the first time, and Hammer going to be acting back with that Rekka going into the C Fireball as well to get those plus frames, and this should be a freeze to extend the combo and push Reaper closer into the corner flower setup as well. Drain the Hyde, drain the overhead, and there's the DP that we don't have to worry about any of that mix in the corner.
There's one thing I expect to see when I watch or play against Reaper. That man's not afraid to DP, and you gotta hold that a lot.
You know, Tsurugi's DP is also very good as well. It moves him
I'm not saying
forward. He's very big. You know, Blaze Blue, he's Naruto DP basically. Is it not? Like without the enhanced version, just Naruto DP like that.
You can't activate the Blaze Blue chip in my brain, man. I'm gonna think about this too hard, but I can see where you're coming from. But I know my brain is gonna want to think about it a lot more. Oh, that's an unfortunate drop combo. Immediate up forward JC from Hammer coming in right now. Let's see. Bob might end with a turret here at the end of this round. Let's see what Hammer opts for.
Yes,
okay, spends it on this. Right,
oh, and the VO will hit.
And mind you, there's a lot less VO timer now when you use it defensively as of like the patch from a few weeks ago. 6-6B connects, I'm gonna tell you, big dog, that's still real good.
We also have to change it as well. We're not going to spend it just yet. Instead, we're going to go run up with the 6C overhead, catching Hammer, not blocking high. And we should be able to kill with this combo, but instead we're just going to go for another one of those 6C resets on Hammer as Reaper places himself on the set point, looking really good as well.
And one thing that I'm noticing more and more, you pointed it out a little bit earlier with Londrekia's like best tools being mids, especially when we think of things like 5B. His 2B, despite being relatively slow, does hit at like a very good range. But we haven't really seen Reaper opt to use that very much. So, sorry, we haven't seen Hammer use that very much. So we've seen Reaper cancel into Force Function like a lot for their pressure. And that's not always necessarily plus. Like, it is like a very aggravating RPS to work with. But if you're not presenting, you know, like kind of the basics, right? If you're not presenting the option that beats it there, then you're in for a world of hurt. Just like this grid break confirmed what could have been. And Reaper opting to just stay in the Force Function. Tries to go for the slide follow-up right there. Hammer with a lot of respect for that. Chilling out right now. There goes the grid thrust here. And again, opting to use that Force Function to try to bulldoze through all of those projectiles right there. Hammer is struggling to find some good responses against it. And Reaper is absolutely shoving their way through the loser's bracket and demanding a seat at the table further in this bracket.
Yeah, absolutely. Reaper knows that
things and wins. So I'm curious to see kind of how that storyline will follow up. But for the time being, you got some board versus Hilda.
Millie, SlushRush already pressing those buttons. Also using those concentrates as well to try and win those cycles. But Gordeau is also known to steal grid with these throws.
Yeah, one of the very big things here. A lot more characters have it these days, but Gord is the OG of stealing grid from you. In ways that used to be kind of wild. But right now, though, SlushRush opting to set up the Gloom right here. Tries to go for the high-low. Noctis recognizing scenario. I think briefly flashed like a purple shield there and then ended up CSing. I would say threatening that purple shield against Hilda can be very risky. The low follow-up usually doesn't end up being too much damage, but if you get grid broken off that can get kind of disastrous very quickly here. Another throw coming in here. Resets into the 6B, and things are looking pretty nice for Noctis as they claw their way through that first round.
Right now, SlushRush is looking really nice in that meter advantage with 200 meter on hand, and is immediately going to be setting down that Roomba. What I rolled through that Roomba to just deny that pressure.
And that is so important to do in any matchup against Hilda. If you do not know how to roll around Roomba and at least force the Hilda to cover for that, you are eating a 50-50 no matter what. Multiple of them if you happen to be on a good guessing day. Lots of green shields coming in right there, but the grid thrust ends up getting blocked afterwards. Really nice hesitation from SlushRush here. Setting up that Roomba once more. Able to set that up in a lot more ways as of recently of this patch with a couple of different tools coming in here. We'll talk about a few more of them as they come up right now, but SlushRush trying to make mincemeat of Noctis right here and close out this second round.
Honestly, great blocks from Noctis, blocking all these overheads from SlushRush, all those charged JCs, but you cannot block all of them for very long as Noctis tries to challenge SlushRush from that distance, but gets countered in the process. I think Noctis might try to go for those Grim Reapers. We've been seeing a lot of them just try and catch SlushRush out of the air.
Yeah, I'm surprised that he went for it after the Force Function A, because yeah, the skew afterwards really will frame trap you pretty consistently there. Not too sure if that was either a misinput or if they were checking for a different option from SlushRush here. In the meantime, however, they're getting clipped up quite a bit here at that full screen range. And those 6-6Bs and 6-6Cs from SlushRush are a lot more dangerous. Because they stagger now and they cause because they stagger and cause that like ground slam, they're a little easier to route from, especially with skews here. But we'll see that come up later. I'm not gonna lie, Noctis is kind of beating the crap out of them for the time being.
Oh, tries to concentrate for a little too long. Loses their momentum.
And that's not the first time. That's not the first time we've seen that, right? Where like a player tries to end a combo a hair early, concentrate and secure the cycle, but it ends up leading to their doom here. Another Gloom. Oh, another Roomba is set up. IW. Slush absolutely sitting in the chair, having a blast as Noctis is cleared for that first game.
Yeah, that's really rough right there. Losing because we concentrated for just a little too long, tried to take back that pressure by pressing a button, but SlushRush immediately pressing button on wake up, immediately looking to challenge that, and got that counter hit in the process on a Noctis. And we've actually been seeing Noctis. There's another tool that I want to talk about that Noctis has been representing a little bit more towards the end of that game, and that's his Force Function. That claw that kind of just rakes that entire screen becomes even stronger in purple because the hitbox becomes bigger, meaning that SlushRush can't crouch it like normal. And it's a great anti-zoning tool that Noctis has been trying to represent, but at the same time, he's trying to use it at these ranges where SlushRush can easily just stuff him out of it.
That's a really good eye. I noticed there was one moment like late in that last round where Noctis tried to go for it and immediately got counter hit. But like the situation happened so fast that it's kind of hard to look for it. I really love the hesitation and pressure right now, dragging out some more of the green shields as the cycle ends, since more people are commonly going to look to snipe the cycle with green shields right there. Good stuff from Noctis here. 200 meter to work with. This is fantastic. And Gord is a meter-hungry character. A lot of his very, very good tools require that 100 meter. And due to the way that meter and resources work in this game, you have to get that early momentum if you really want to start flexing a lot of these options.
Yeah, definitely got a lot of momentum from that round start, taking away a lot of health from SlushRush, and you know he's looking for that one final hit, waiting for that one gap, and Hilda does leave a lot of gaps in her pressure, especially ones that can be punished by that meter Grim Reaper like that.
Yeah, Gordeau having Sea Reaper in this matchup is super, super important. I'm suddenly remembering hearing Untold talk about talking to the Gordeau players. Gord having 100 meter greatly changes what Hilda is able to do, especially after certain pressure sequences, because after a lot of her longer range tools, she's pretty minus, with the exception of stuff like 2-6B. So Gord having that 100 meter in the pocket is basically just kind of walking up and being at any time you do something I deem to be stupid, I could just kill you.
It's very interesting. Very interesting what SlushRush did right there, going for the C Spire to try and catch out Noctis if he tried to roll through the Roomba. And right now, SlushRush is finding some throws on a Noctis, tacking on that damage, has the health advantage, but not the meter advantage. And we're seeing that chain shift being popped, going straight into the C Reaper, like always, using the C Moral Slide to get the plus frames. And we scoop SlushRush right in from full screen as Noctis takes a game in response to SlushRush and evens up the set right here, 1-1.
All right, what a big shift from Noctis. If you look at that game 1 to game 2, he's playing very, very differently. A lot more confidence, and a lot more of his decision-making has been successful, as we can see here, as we go into this last game. Oh my goodness. All right, he's feeling himself. He's feeling it.
Yeah, definitely a lot better usage of the tools that he has available. We've been talking about that Sea Reaper. Actually hasn't been representing that force function that I talked about a little bit earlier in that first game, but doesn't really need to use it because that Reaper has been proving to be so effective.
Oh no! Whoa, that was a weird moment right there. Got the shield on the assault normal, but then ended up not being able to follow up, but still gets the grid break regardless. That's going to guarantee Vorpal here. Oh my god, he's plus! He's plus, you gotta respect it. What a terrible feeling, and that should be death. Let's see how much meter Noctis ends up spending. No! Not going to kill, but gets the...
Yeah, we were trying to save meter right there.
Try to be as efficient as possible. Sometimes you just got to kill them. Oh my god.
And trying to shield it, gets thrown in the process. Noctis keeping that combo very simple to get the hard knockdown with the Spear Ender. Also been getting a bit of grit along with it. And will be getting 100 meter at the end of this combo to use for pressure if he so chooses. Sees the red mist after the chain shift, and we can go for that reversal into the full combo because we're here in the corner.
Oh my god. Not enough meter to threaten another metered option right there, but the pressure into the throw. Again, absolute possible and set up scenarios around it as much as possible to extend that. It's, not quite a whole other win condition, but it is a powerful thing that he does. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but immediately we're starting off the grabs, immediately setting the pace, saying hey, I'm the grappler here, and we're not going to be teching these either.
These are all growth throws. I'm not gonna lie, that window's almost half a second. That's a little rough. Right now, Salty getting lit up currently by Tanasinn here, who has a humongous meter advantage here.
Oh, but great force function parry. This will take back his turn. Drops oh, got a red combo midway through. Could have been a drop, but we're not going to be teching out of it regardless. Tanasinn, though, still has such a huge health advantage. And now Salty is pushing him closer and closer into the corner with these 2As.
Getting clipped right there by the 6B, if I recall correctly here. Things are looking decent. A couple of whiff shields, and that is dangerous to deal with Akatsuki, because there's the grid break right there. This character's dash block is absolutely zooted. You want to be very, very mindful of how you're defending against Akatsuki and maneuvering around that properly right there. Nice little CS in order to optimize for meter gain as much as possible as Salty takes that first round.
It can be very tricky trying to block against Akatsuki like we saw right there with all that stagger pressure with the 2As and the 5Bs, because he can kind of just root, because he can cancel the 2As into 2As, and it has a lot of blocks in as well. So very, very useful to just keep on tossing out and make the opponent guess when that pressure is going to end and when he's going to go for a throw to open you up, especially in that mid-screen range where he doesn't really have a lot of ways to keep you locked down for very long.
Tanasinn trying to go for a very hard read there with the instant air command grab. Not too sure if that was either intentional or an accidental TK, but based on how Tanasinn plays, I would not be shocked if that was on purpose. He's very, very willing to make those hard reads in multiple scenarios. Oh no!
That was about to be crazy. That was about to be crazy. Salty.
I was like
stepping back, walking back. It's like, okay, I know what you're going to do, and I'm going to react accordingly with an IW, but the IW is just a little too slow.
I was so geared to make a "my footsies are so nice" joke just for that to get blocked. I don't know how to feel.
It's
nice
crazy
shield right there on the beat.
Right idea.
Yeah, very good like awareness from Tanasinn right there to shield the Tatsu there. One of like the kind of like Akatsuki classics is that like if Akatsuki has Vorpal and he goes for B Tatsu and you try to shield after the second hit, he can like check for it, CS right there, and then grid break, which is what we see Salty do immediately once they have the cycle there. Unfortunately, dropping a couple combos.
I want to see that backdash come out. Very good backdash, avoiding those command grabs and tossing out these fireballs, but runs up into the rising J6C to knock Tanasinn back on the ground. Where do you think you're going?
Oh my god, he just let the crazy hands drop. No, but the throw gets it done. I'm kind of shocked that Salty opted for the J236C there. Like, I know after the Tatsu, because I know that's, you know, his typical option to remain plus afterwards. But I wonder if Shockwave's hitbox, Wald's Shockwave hitbox, is actually big enough to still clip Akatsuki out of that. But that is a very big blink and you miss it moment there. So I cannot fault Tanasinn really in any severe way for not doing so.
There's that 2A, 2B stagger pressure coming in, but Tanasinn finally finding the courage to mash against it and mashes correctly. Use the steer ender to get the hard knockdown, but another DP. Salty has been perfect on all of these DP attempts.
Far 5B is going to get it done as well. Wants to shut down a lot of Tanasinn's willingness to mash. A grid break coming in is fantastic for Akatsuki here. In at that close range. Nice CS after the 6B, trying to stay plus. Let's see what comes up next. It's going to be the command grab.
Shockwave's coming in. Oh, and tries to convert into the fireballs. But because it was a very awkward hit with that Tossie, that will not end up working out. We actually just go ahead and force function that rock as well to hopefully try and get a little bit more of this grid advantage and keep Tanasinn here humble in the corner. But we have some meter on hand, and we know Tanasinn is not a humble player.
Smart stuff right there from Tanasinn as well at the end of the cycle. Opting to not go for any shields at the end there because they've already gotten blown up for like some of their green shields earlier in this set. So keeping it simple and just opting to naturally gain the grid from blocking while not in Vorpal already was very, very smart. If Tanasinn was in Vorpal already, he would have been forced to shield in order to gain a bit more grid there. So opting to not do so since he recognizes this, like the scenario, is very smart stuff. Let's see what comes up next. Last minute green shield's not going to be enough for Salty right now. They're very low on health, 100 meter to go. Any reasonably good meter like combo super will do pretty well here. Coming in right now, Tanasinn, no meter needed, ends up taking his first game of the set. Winners finals is certainly heating up here. And remember folks, this is 3 out of 5. You got a little bit more room to work with when it comes to the adaptations.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to be taking it the distance very early on here in winners finals as we're now evened up 1-1. It's not going to be a clean sweep for either player as we are adapting to each other's play styles. But let's see how that adaptation shakes up in the third game. Who is going to take it? And Tanasinn already being a lot more confident with these normals to just destroy projectiles as Salty loves to throw out.
Jesus. Showing that purple shield immediately on wake up is dangerous. I think he probably delayed the D press, expecting a meaty from Tanasinn, but Tanasinn was not quite ready enough to catch it and then grid break. So things are looking pretty decent here. Not like any huge momentum swings either. But man, Salty is not able to tech like these gold throws nearly as consistently as he should be able to. Like it's sorry, yeah.
Oh yeah, no, he's just taking him out right there.
Yeah, it's legitimately like doing him in. That's a lot of damage and a lot of like grid swings that like Tanasinn is getting as a result. Relatively unusual for a player of his caliber, I will say. He should come
try to go for the throw. Yeah, he tried to go for the grid break.
Tanasinn expecting that grid break, immediately mashing the scan tech in that scenario. Not trying to go for like a rising JC as well. Might be worried about a potential, I believe it's close 5C from Akatsuki, because I think that would end up clipping walled if he tries to jump in the air at that specific angle. Good mashes from Salty here. Both players trying to play out the neutral, but it's getting a bit crazy.
Good tech. We're going to get punished on that J6C attempt. We're going to just wake up, go for the C fireballs. This is going to be a full combo for Salty, throwing Tanasinn into the corner. But there's that creeping edge to get out, and Salty throwing him right back in there. One more hit is all he needs, and he's fishing for it with these 2 A's, with these 2 B's. But Tanasinn playing ever as patient as possible.
Goodness, that roll was so risky. He didn't end up getting grid broken. Like, if he got grid broken from it, he would have just died outright from that throw. There would be no further interaction needed. Right now, we're already back in the corner. Plenty of resources to work with for Tanasinn, however. Let's see how he plays it. Nice and patient, but the throw ends up getting baited here. 3CAD coming in once more. Tanasinn very much so opting for that 3C much more often now. See what comes up next here after this God Press. Oki isn't going to be anything too crazy, but let's see what the mix ends up being. DP from Salty negates any such thing.
Using the back dap, trying to punish here on Tanasinn. And taking him the distance, coast to coast. We're going to push him into the corner here with these fireballs. We're just going to run up, go for the 2 A's, go for the overhead attempts, or threatening with those overheads with these assaults. Tanasinn not biting just yet, instead going for that command grab, that invincible reversal. Now back at full screen.
Couple of scrappy interactions here, but Tanasinn ends up getting a big hit. Cycle should go in his favor, but the combo's going to end too soon, so he's not going to be able to CS into a super. Things are looking a little dicey here. Any touch will get it done from Tanasinn, but any good hit from Salty will also do them in. They saw the miss, but they might have whiffed their input there on a potential reversal, and Salty ends up sniping game 3 away.
Yeah, the way that Salty just constantly forces you to guess on these strike throws at the end of every single one of these games. I feel like Salty has gotten a throw finish for every one of these games that he has won.
God, I'm not gonna lie, if I was playing against Salty, I would have cracked like 2 rounds. Oh my god, I love the delay body splash. So good. Oh, another throw. Salty, what do you think is gonna come up next year for like Tanasinn in terms of his adjustments on offense?
Oh, you're talking to me. I thought you were talking about the other Salty.
Oh my god. Okay, yeah, that is a mix. That's a mix.
What do I think that he would see? I would say, like, it's hard to say. Maybe play more patient and neutral, make Tanasinn whiff a lot more of his normals, because it feels like Salty is playing at this range where he's playing just outside of his own normals, while Tanasinn is actually stuffing a lot of his approaches in return.
Celestial versus Tanasinn already. Big reward for such patient offense right there. Showing that purple shield against Akatsuki is dangerous work there. They still end up getting the 360C. Things are looking pretty solid here. Lots of shields. They, mind you, they don't need to like opt for too many shields. They're given just like the fact that they were already in Celestial. You do have to shield to maintain like grid gain while you're blocking if you already have Vorpal. But again, just given how much grid they have, it would not be necessary. It wouldn't be necessary to secure cycle. It would only be to like try to create gaps or perhaps match right there. But as we're coming into this next cycle here, Salty.
See the backdash trying to catch out that roll. Here's a throw here on Tanasinn, tacking on some more damage. Another throw coming in, shocking him. And there's the VO from Tanasinn on a wake up, hitting him with that assault overhead. This is going to be big damage, but we dropped the combo midway through.
Things are looking a bit awkward right there, deleting the projectiles. But oh, big trade. Tanasinn barely ends up getting the frame advantage here, but let's see what comes up next. Throw ends up getting it done. And Salty, as you were mentioning before, some of these throws are really starting to come in for Salty.
Yeah, and they just keep on coming in. So many times that Tanasinn has been thrown that round, and Salty is going to be taking that round because of it.
Yeah. Goofy as it was when I mentioned, like, you know, Salty's conviction to J6C, like, when he finds an option that works, he will pinpoint and he will abuse it. And right now, I feel like Tanasinn is kind of in one of those moments in sets where, like, sometimes you end up centralizing your play based off of like 1 or 2 particular options, and sometimes that can make you lose sight of things that are more important. But As I'm saying that, I'm not going to lie, they're winning a lot of interactions here. 200 meter to work with. Let's see what the scaling ends up looking like for this combo, but at this rate, this should end up leading to a kill here with this IW. And folks, I do believe we are going to see a Game 5 for Winners Finals.
Yeah, we called it immediately when Winners Final started. The moment that we saw it go to 1-1, we started trading games back and forth, trading rounds back and forth. We knew that this was going to go the distance. And these players have, of course, played against each other quite a lot already. So they kind of know what to expect from the get-go. And we're just building on top of that knowledge as this set goes further and further. But Salty is building on top of this combo he has right here to bring Tanasinn into the corner very early on.
Another red D combo. Again, you guys are very faithful folks. You guys believe in each other's routing a lot. It could not be me, I'm not gonna lie. You gotta have zero faith in people's combos like at times, because sometimes those big drops could lead to a humongous swing in like interactions. Whether it's like teching forward and getting away from your opponent afterwards or what have you. But we'll see if any more of these drops end up coming out. But right now, Salty is trying to run a clinic of Akatsuki offense.
Yeah, uses the chain shift, gets that punish against Tanasinn. Salty looking good in that round, bringing us to set point. One more round, and we're in grand finals. Caught with the B Tatsu. Sending him into the corner. There's the fireballs coming out, and there's the J6Cs just constantly coming out from Salty. We saw, you talked about it before. He was just J6C you all the time. He finds that one thing that you really struggle to deal with, and Tanasinn has just not been challenging them at all.
Regardless, though, a lot of the 360C reversals are starting to work in. Tanasinn's playing meter pretty well defensively, so I'm curious to see if he'll try to flex that a bit more offensively or even in neutral. But right now, just clipping Salty for trying to aggress in neutral and won't even need any meter to spend. And both players are coming in loaded with like money to play with.
200 meter to start things off, but Salty is going to be catching Tanasinn off of that meter spend, that command grab from Tanasinn, and Salty now finally has Tanasinn where he wants in the corner, where Akatsuki starts to thrive, where he doesn't have to chase down to this character.
Oh my goodness. Ends up getting that after the like shield on the B Tatsu. And I'm surprised at the lack of EX cancel from Salty right there. Normally you would see that for Akatsuki to stay safe, and plus B Tatsu ends up connecting here. However, things are looking pretty good. Not gonna quite build up to 100 meter, but it's looking very, very close. Reversal 360 comes out here. It's do or die for both players.
We're seeing this dash block come in action. There's the speed Tatsu as well, but that's going to be a free punish here for Tanasinn. And the full combo, we have 200 meter on hand. This is going to be the round win for Tanasinn to take it over Salty. 3-2 into the pot for all those players showing off this great under night tonight as we get into Toast versus a Noctis in the semifinals.
It'd be another banger of a set here versus with these two players coming in. With green shield, but no grid break, and I think if you're Noctis, you breathe a sigh of relief. It was only a regular throw. I like the shields, and we've seen this happen a few times where like some players will just opt to play very defensively at round start, and they'll just get Celestial almost immediately, and that is so impactful for like the remainder of a round.
Yeah, absolutely, and Noctis is looking to keep that Celestial for as long as possible, trying to deny Toast basically just every single one of these Vorpal cycles, and not going to cash out on it just yet. Wants to save it for when he really needs it at the end of this combo. And look at that, he just keeps on holding on to it and consistently getting that 200 grid meter every single time. But now it's going to run out, and Noctis will be spending that chain shift in reaction to Toast on that defense.
Knifed on the 5C, but it ends up being an air hit. Toast had maybe an awkward angle. Noctis not ready for the confirm there. There's the 2FF and a slight delayed. I think the 2A ends up working out very well here. Doesn't end up leading to a kill. Oh my goodness. TKJ236C, if we want to talk about Jack of all trades button, your plus, your throw crush, spend a bit of meter. Pretty good as a start. It's a really good play.
Yeah, I think those throw crushes are exactly what Noctis is looking for, because Toast has been representing a lot of these throws, especially when we're in the corner, because of the fact that Hyde can combo off of them.
Oh, definitely. Right now, however, Toast is trying to absolutely maul Noctis. Damn, you're a perfect aura. No! I cursed it. I don't know what will happen next.
Yeah, just run up 5A, finds the hit. Toast is going to be bringing us to this final round of game number 1. 200 meter on the table, and Emil, we're spending it so we can push Noctis into the corner because we want to get into that position where Hyde doesn't have to worry about chasing the other player down.
Toast absolutely confident in this throw game. Willing to give up so much grid to Noctis, given all of the wonderful shields he was doing, and just look for the right time to snipe it with a grid break throw and rip it all away. Goes to the 2FFCS, maybe trying to check for a green shield. Comes in a bit later, and that 2B ends up sniping at Toast at mid-range. And that 2B is deceptively crazy good, I swear.
Force function being represented as well, keeping Toast humble from full screen. And there's the Grim Reaper coming in, drops the combo midway through so we don't get the hard knockdown, but it's okay, using the VO to keep Toast locked down. A VO in response from Toast, getting out of that pressure sequence, and a lot of shields from Noctis will secure him Celestial.
That's looking fantastic, but still gets clipped after the backdash. Hyde has so many tools to check for backdash, so it can feel very, very risky to do so. And I know Gord backdash is still good, but trust me, when you're dealing with tools like 6-6C, 6B, it can still be very, very tough to get away from Hyde quickly.
Yeah, for sure. And that's one of the interesting things about Hyde, where his mid-screen pressure isn't exactly the best, especially after his combos, because he kind of has to chase you down after after his combos end, and kind of go for something more committal, like a 6-6C if he wants to try and meet you. So it's really interesting trying to go for these backdashes to just avoid those situations. But Toast instead, playing patient, reacting to what you're doing, and then using the correct move in response.
Looking pretty good thus far. TP ends up coming out here. Things are relatively even between both players. Cycle's looking pretty good in favor of Toast, and the green shields that were working out super well for Noctis earlier in game 1 ending up not coming into fruition quite yet in this first round of game 2. Oh my god, he hit a 2A and immediately realized it was dropped and just mashed 2B. That's real, I'm not gonna lie. I believe in that 100%.
Oh, face out the
my
2P with
God.
the backdash.
And that was such a fast backdash, too. I genuinely thought he was committed to just dashing in and going for like a sim. Beautiful reaction right there, going for the C Grim Reaper. There's the Asim coming in finally. Some staggered 5As, trying to remain plus with the 2-2X. Ooh, things are looking fantastic for Noctis right now. What a humongous swing in momentum.
Absolutely, another backdash. Anticipating that roll from Toast, because Toast is one to use that tool very, very often. Is very good because of the fact that it does build you crit and gets you out of those corner situations, even if you do lose your turn in the process. But we don't even need to get out of that corner to take Noctis to the other side here.
And things are looking pretty good for Toast right now. Plenty of meter to work with both sides, on both sides actually. Toast once again spending the CS, trying to check for Noctis's green shield habits right there. Ends up frame trapping right now. Things are looking pretty good, and that should be the round. No meter necessary. Both players rocking full meter right now. Things can get very dangerous very, very quickly. But Toast, as we've seen before, very willing to spend a ton of meter very early on.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And both players just willing to spend a lot of meter, as Toast is out of all of their meter right here to use. And Noctis, spend a lot immediately, but is starting to gain that back, especially with all that potential meter we have from a potential chain shift very soon here. To a punish, but doesn't get the full combo. Tries to go for a 5A rebeat, but doesn't end up working out.
See him. Yes! Oh my god, I hate being right. I love being right. What am I doing? What am I saying? Let's see if he opts to reset. No, wants to go for the full confirm here. Let's see what comes up next. 2C ends up getting blocked. Things are fine. Tries to get a little shiesty with the instant JC, but things are fine right here. Noctis still ends up getting the kill with the IW, punching their way through for a game 3 scenario here.
Well played to Noctis. And what I really like about how Noctis is playing against Toast right here is that Toast is one to really use projectiles. like, except the Reaper match. Like, the Reaper match, he didn't throw projectiles because Reaper was constantly set up the shield to where you couldn't really do that. But now that he's kind of free to do so, Toast really loves to use projectiles like 2FF or 236A or even the meter follow-ups as well. And because that, Noctis can kind of get a lot of free grid with these shields. And another thing too is that Hyde, when he is pressuring you, unless he's trying to go for those throws, he doesn't really have a lot of high-low mix that really threatens grid breaks if you do try to go for a lot of green shields on defense.
Yeah, I would say the big thing with Hyde, especially in this version, is just that like his strike throw game is very much so juiced. So while you're not necessarily going to mix with like high, low, left, right, his ability to just like threaten a throw that leads into great damage or just clock you for trying to either jump or use a throw crush option is so powerful. And it leads to some pretty like weighted risk reward scenarios on offense right now. But we'll get to that when we get to that, because right now Noctis just I'm gonna keep it a buck, wants to beat the absolute crap out of Toast here. Some of these 6-6 FFs are coming along. Manages to roll out of the pogo, gets a juicy IC5C and drops.
So we're going to be using that Mortal Slide to pull Toast all the way back in after that drop. And we're not going to be dropping the combo this time around. Well, okay.
Dude, where you know, it's just these things happen. We call them and then players drop and then we're like, my bad. I guess I'm foolish.
It was the end of the combo too. I was like, I'm so confident. Never mind.
No, legit, because like the Reaper right there was meant to stabilize for like the Ender, but then it just ended up dropping, which is tragic here. Right now, Noctis, however, poised to take this third game right now. Things are looking close, but Toast has plenty of meter to work with, spending it on the plus frames, as we've seen before here. Probably going to spend it once more. That's a humongous Celestial in the tank for Noctis. Not quite enough meter to opt for any reversal, but just throws after the blocked Rekka hit. And Noctis
for being a little too patient, or maybe trying to go for those backdashes and mistiming it a little bit. So that could be a very useful tool in terms of keeping Salty off him.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see what comes up here. Let's see what the round start is. First things first. Rather patient there, blocks the 6-6C. Not trying to press too crazy in response to it. 6-6C. Oh, nice assault.
Oh, just immediately just goes up, gets his punishes, and we're not hit confirming all the way. Lots of potential damage that is lost by not confirming these combos. Chain shift, red miss, but we can't do anything about it. That 2A coming out too fast, and we have no reversal option available as Salty gets a pretty meaty combo ending with that hard knockdown and just consistently going for these throws. There's the 5A throw, there's the backdash trying to get our reversal option, and the 6C coming right in to get a great starter.
Time and time again, what will you do when the infighter is pressing 2A, 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 2A in front of your face, and the throw might get it done. Throw coming out here once more. Oh, really good spacing. That 4B ended up whiffing, just barely out of range. Things are looking fantastic for Salty here. Noctis has plenty of meter to run with, so let's see how Salty tries to play around some of the reversal options.
Well, we found that command grab coming right in. And one thing about that command grab is that you can jump it on the flash, but Salty was in the middle of that move, so he did get caught, get caught by it.
Yeah, and then on top of that, right, you still have to recognize the animation in the first place as Salty takes this like first game here. Right, you have to make sure that you're distinguishing it properly between 2 and 4C or C Reaper or potentially again, you know, like TK 236C, right? So there's like a whole lot of things that you want to like check for, and if you're not quite prepared for it, or you know, maybe you feel a little nervous due to it being in bracket, like sometimes you can just get flipped. So it can be a little tough.
Remember, this is a loose final match, so this will be a first to 3 instead of the regular first to 2. So a lot more time to adapt for either of these players, and Salty is not 1 game away, but 2 games away instead. And Noctis trying to keep this pressure going, gets DP'd in the face. I feel like Salty has hit every single DP he's done so far in bracket, right?
I cannot think of a block DP. Mind you, he also has not been throwing it out super frequently. He's either maneuvering around it in some other way, or he's opting to like mash without spending meter.
Straight timing in general, and there's that chain shift. Going for the DP for an invincible option, and just immediately canceling it to keep that combo going. But great throw here from Noctis, tossing Salty into the corner. Meter on hand, tries to catch him with the boot, but to no avail, just out of range.
No, I think that was a misinput right there because he got the CS and and I think like at that point in the animation you can confirm that that's a fireball from Akatsuki, but we didn't see any like super in response to there. So I wonder if that was like a drop or a misinput or something strange happening there. I genuinely can't tell right now. Noctis does not seem to be bothered whatsoever though. I'm not gonna lie, he's continuing on.
Frame trap. I don't think we're going to be spending meter just yet. Yeah, we're not going to spend it just yet. We're going to wait for this combo here so we can get a meterless win. Secure 200 meter for this next round.
Keeping it rather efficient right there. Seeing some of the throws from Salty and immediately adjusting the pressure to check and then look for a throw opportunity. Great stuff from Noctis, grid breaking Salty, who's still unbothered. Oh no, stagger throws are working out. Both players grid broken once again. I didn't know if we were going to see that happen again today. When it happened the first time, it was rather rare.
Yeah, like I'm saying, like seeing a double grid break is a lot rarer than you think, but we're changing history. We're making history tonight, and Salty is going to be making history against Noctis as now we are 2-0, and Salty wanting to make that a 3-0 as well to get right back into Grands and play back and get that run back against Tanasinn.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, Salty definitely made mincemeat of Noctis towards the end there. I think that one of the things that can be very frustrating or can kind of mess with you very heavily is when your opponent just like does like a delay dash block into like a throw, like on their wake up. Like you can just be like, what? You just did that? Okay. But it's one of those cases where you just have to be very confident in your meetings. And one thing that you pointed out earlier with like Salty's DPs working every time, like that can really mess with like your offense here. But one thing that I think has been really amazing from Noctis is that he continues on with his game plan Oh no.
Yeah, that's horrible. Yeah, spending losing a lot of meter along with it as well. Still has some meter in the tank if we want to go for a reversal. We're not going to be doing anything just yet. Instead, we're going to wait for that chain shift opportunity after winning that vorpal cycle on defense and get that reversal out instead. Good spacing here from Noctis. Actually, Salty.
Fantastic to get out of the way of the B-Tatsu right there. And no whiff super cancel from him either. Somewhat surprising. Oh god, that's a big trade. Meter spent on Noctis' side, but he gets the next hit, which means he still has over 100 meter to work with, which is fantastic for Gord. Again, Gord's metered options are very powerful, so keeping them on hand is fantastic for him to work with. Something also in his favor. Let's see what he gets to do with it. That's the animation for Fireball, but no! 214C comes out.
Very unfortunate. Salty using the steer ender, getting the hard knockdown. Once again, not spending any meter just yet. Looking for a meterless win in this round and is trying to get it as fast as possible with these throws. No text, but that was a counter hit throw at the very end there, so Noctis wouldn't even have an opportunity to tech it.
And the way that Salty is slipping in these stagger throws is making so much. It's like it's producing so much for him, right? Like just the ability to generate so many grid break throws and place himself at such an advantage state has allowed Salty to convert so many rounds into his favor here. Noctis has at the very least also been able to run some very strong offense and really keep up the like sequences, but every now and then Salty just like boldly mashes with something and manages to like just barely slip away here. Oh, very good force function from Noctis, recognizing that Salty wants to opt for the concentrate in order to take the cycle and just immediately playing just the basic RPS scenario around it. I feel like in Under Night sometimes it's very easy to get lost on the sauce of the system and be like, I have to concentrate, I have to win the cycle, I have to get it at all costs. But there are times in which that decision making will still get you killed when a player looks at you concentrate and goes like, oh, well, what if I just, hit you? What if I did that and you just died? Because if Salty instead like opted to block there, like, block the force function, cycle goes in his favor regardless, right? So it can be a little tough to play around those scenarios. Oh, God, 660.
Yeah, there's some cases where I'm like, sometimes health is less important than actually winning that cycle because you get so much benefit from getting that chain shift, from getting those vorpal buffs, and basically just changing how your character operates in a better way. But we're not going to be seeing too much of that just yet from Noctis. Says Salty is going to be the one winning that cycle, but we're in that combo, so we're not going to be able to use it all too much.
But CS gets the parry, not much of a follow-up, trying to concentrate afterwards, baits out the green shield because the cycle's nearly ending. Noctis trying to get that CS at the very last minute since it's allowing him to confirm with like some reversal options afterwards. And I think that was yet another miss in, but that was definitely meant to be 623C because that was EX Mortal Slide that ended up coming out right there based on the start of that animation. And I can only assume that was meant to be EX from Reaper instead. Sim ends up connecting. Another one maybe? No. Salty really feed into Noctis' timing.
Hopping on over to the other side, counter hitting Noctis, trying to press a button in return. There's that 5B coming out, trying to space out Salty, and that's going to be a huge hit for Noctis. This is going to swing momentum in his favor. Has some extra meter on hand for this next offensive sequence, but has to still keep in mind that Salty has 200 meter on hand, and that Salty is willing to press buttons just like that with the 2B, and will be able to secure it with an infinite worth EX. Play the cinematic.
You gotta make him watch. And that's so tragic. Again, Salty's willingness to check a lot of Noctis' timings was really doing so.
Where it kind of changes how you play on offense. And that definitely did affect him, especially those throws as well when it comes to green shielding. But enough of that. We're finally here in grand finals, and Salty going to be getting this run back against Tanasinn from the loser side.
I saw a whiffed green shield against J6C. If Salty got that dash, that was sure to accompany that throw. Ooh, good lord. Regardless of that fact, things are looking fantastic for Salty. Tanasinn gets the roll out of the corner. No unblockable scenario possible. Or actually, maybe Tatsu would have been able to do it. Not too sure entirely, but either way, Tanasinn ends up getting 4 points this time around, deleting a couple of fireballs, and Salty still manages to find that one big hit.
And you can see that this is kind of what I was talking about in previous matches where Tanasinn was destroying those projectiles, is being very mindful about which projectiles you destroy, because even though it does clear the screen of them, you still have to keep in mind that you are essentially whiffing your normals or your specials. And Salty, if he is spaced correctly, can easily go for these punishes if you're not careful.
And there it is, once again, Salty looking for that scenario from the round start of last round, going for the J6C and checking that green shield coming up from Tanasinn. They were willing to believe that Tanasinn wanted to green shield afterwards, since most of the time, you know, you're plus, you're going to continue your offense right there. But mixing in the throw there once again, really smart stuff. Let's see what comes up next here for Tanasinn, though, after getting that confirmed, spending the CS in order to extend damage. Vorpal stripping, in fact, and taking them out of grid break. A DP doesn't end up working, but the combo drops and just going for the veil off here. Not much time to work with. Probably just going to 2-3-6-E. Yeah, there it goes once more.
And there's the 2As coming in, the Rise J6C, and a throw from Tanasinn. Probably even, I think that was probably a tech as well, because I think Salty was maybe trying to go for a throw there, or Tanasinn was just expecting one.
I think it was more Tanasinn expecting the throw there, and I think Salty wanted to alter the timing maybe of like a 2A in order to either catch the throw tech or perhaps even TRM. We'll have to see what happens next J6C and see like what adjustments both players are making here. Throw crush options are coming out here from Salty, plus frames after the 2-3-6-E. Just trying to hit with a couple of stanky legs right there. And yeah, now we're seeing the double J6C. Salty really trying to show a bunch of different options right there in order to force like Tanasinn to kind of like guess between the various follow-ups.
Yeah, this is insane right here. Getting that bonus damage from the Celestial and also getting a lot of meter as well. We're actually blocking all of these DPs. We were talking about that perfect record before where Salty did not miss a single one. Tanasinn dropping the combo, so it's not going to matter as much. Instead, we're going to get that command grab, however, catching Salty from afar and closing out the first game.
Dog, that walk back was so beautiful. I'm not going to lie. Did you see that?
I did.
He watched Salty with the first J6C, then goes, you know what? Let me just back off. Barely out of range of the J6C and still manages to properly punish with a 360. That was so good from Tanasinn right there.
Yeah, this micro spacing is so important in this matchup, as we saw right there.
I'm showing off. Purple shield against oh, that grid is very dire for Salty right here.
Yeah, this is a very huge grid break for Tanasinn. And Tanasinn trying to go for the God Press.
Okay, because I was like, am I crazy for this?
But yeah, that was like, absolutely a God Press.
Oh my god. I have no explanation for that. He just wanted to do it. I'm not gonna lie.
I just went a full Senate from there, but it's not going to end up working out. And because of that, it kind of just swaying that momentum back into Salty's favor. And we're going to be seeing that momentum swing further and further in his favor as he has that Vorpal Speckle spending the chain shift to get that meter, has 100 meter on hand, and that's very important. And we're seeing the 2A stagger pressure come in as well. Tanasinn electing to try and shield, but I think we accidentally input a high shield instead of low shield and got grid broken in the process.
Yeah, he got stand shield. I'm not too sure if that was intentional or maybe he was looking for like another like J6C or something. But either yeah, it was probably J6C. And you can see the immediate veil off in response to that. Does not want to remain grid broken against Akatsuki, but that puts him in a pretty awkward position. Oh my god. Okay, just ends up landing the EX clap. This is fine. Things are looking good.
And just runs up, back throw. Now Tanasinn stuck in the corner. Salty representing those double jumps to keep Tanasinn guessing. But Tanasinn just represents such a strong defense until he gets opened up eventually by an over just like that. Recognizing the shield attempt from Tanasinn and Salty grid breaking him for a huge punish.
There comes in the 3C. With the amount of ways that Salty was trying to abuse like the J6C and like RPSing around that, it's really important to be able to show like some of these delay 3CADs or even just like raw 3C like reads on Salty's offense to try and like negate some of the strength of Salty's like decision making here. And that's proving out very, very well for Tanasinn here. Let's see if he keeps doing that or if Salty rotates in a few different options. Right now though, that beefy 6C is going to connect.
Oh, but we're seeing a lot of combo jumps from Salty as well, especially in this mid-screen range when it comes to these 5Bs or these fireballs, and we just went for like the triple shimmy right there, just in the spirit of something like a Street Fighter. And Tanasinn is just completely caught off guard when it comes to this throw timing from Salty. Like you said, I mean, just these delays all the time, these just the micro changes in his spacing and these timings, he's just consistently throwing off Tanasinn as Salty can just keep on running his own offense and his own game plan whenever he's up in Tanassinn's face.
There's that delayed 3C. It's going to end up clipping Salty. I think backdashing, in fact. This is going to be pretty decent for Tanasinn. Let's see what the Oki they choose to go for is.
Definitely caught multiple options.
Oh. Veil off, throw whiffs.
Oh, but we do confirm into this combo because that is a punish, and we should be able to just root straight into that IW for an easy kill, and that's exactly what we're going to do. I hope you're ready to learn some Chinese because you're going to be taken straight to China, to the other side of the world.
Absolutely blown away by that last hit here. And now, Tanasinn is up 2 games against Salty.
Yeah, this is huge, especially because Tanasinn is also starting off on a winner's side, meaning he only has to win that one set, just needs to win one more game, and he takes over Salty, while Salty still needs to win 3 in a row to take just the reset. So it's back to 0-0, so there's a lot more on the line for Salty, and Tanasinn just sitting very, very comfortably up there with 2 points ahead.
Yeah, it feels like despite some of the adjustments that Salty is making, especially to his offense, it feels like overall Tanasinn at the very least manages to again at the worst scrape by, and then his neutral and transitions into offense prove very successful in terms of closing out games. So it's tough because each of the games are close, but Tanasinn is simply just closing more consistently.
Good anti-air from Salty. Oh, but drops the combo.
That is definitely rough. That's a lot of damage left on the table.
Especially with a character as beefy as Waldstein, you really want to make sure that you're landing your combos and finishing them accordingly.
Oh my god, 2-2X in response to the concentrate. It should be a Tatsu. Very good recognition of the potential scenario, but ends up getting unblockable by the 6C after the air blocking the air projectiles. That's something that Salty's been trying to set up pretty frequently in these times, but hasn't quite been able to get it done. You know, we've seen most of the time 6C ends up getting ground blocked here. A couple shields come out, but it's going to be the delayed 2C that clips Tanasinn out.
Immediately starting off with a fireball into the 2-3-6C to keep Tanasinn in check.
Oh,
no. Green shield just goes for one more time, catching Tanasinn. That's going to be a free combo. because of the crumple state that it puts him in. And there's that backdash to catch that roll. Salty has been continuing to represent that so much in this set to keep Tanasinn out from escaping the corner, but he cannot keep him from escaping the corner when he finds a good combo on you, and that's exactly what we're going to see right here.
See the tribute to the corner. Yeah, I'm going to press the EX God press here. And mind you, that shield right there earlier that happened is pretty... Whoa, you got scooped! Oh, good heavens. Okay, let's see what comes up next. Nearly 200 meter to work with for Tanasinn. Not likely going to spend it. All of it, I suppose. But that should be yet another cycle secured. Bold 5A mashes from Salty, and they end up ringing true here.
Yeah, and I also think that Tanasinn isn't scared to spend a bit of meter as well, because he can just do a chain shift and just get that meter back. But we're getting really scrambly right now. Salty on very low life. Tanasinn also on very low life. But Tanasinn just proven to be so consistent when it comes to these grab reversals and catching Salty off guard.
You are way too much of a professional for the emotions that I'm feeling right now. What in God's name was that weird side swap that happened midway through that scramble? What was that? I've never seen that. That was really weird. That was like that was odd. Like genuinely.
Yeah, we're gonna have to run that back. We gotta get that. We gotta get that highlight reel later on.
I swear, yeah.
Run it frame by frame. That's for another time. I love that body press from Tanasinn. Just completely changed their air timing and messed up Salty's anti-air.
Oh my god, yeah, that was so good. He hasn't been using Body Splash very much, and so Salty's felt a bit more confident in terms of using like 6C, especially when they set up a couple of scenarios. That's going to be the 360C here. Things are looking very, very close. That's not going to be 100 meter to work with for Tanasinn, but any command or grab will get it done. The Body Splash once again. Big man in the air, you better watch out because you're going to get hit.
And a rip that.
3-0.
3-0 with an iron fist